This morning on today's Consumer, store brands versus name brands. That grocery bill can add up quickly if you're buying name brand foods. But if you buy the cheaper store brands, will they actually taste as good? Consumer Reports recently conducted a taste test, and it's going to make a lot of the penny pinchers out there feel very good. Todd Marks is Senior Projects Editor at Consumer Reports. Todd, good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
Finally, a little love for the store brands.
Absolutely.
This is good.
You know, we've been preaching that message for a long time. In our latest test, we did 21 head-to-head matchups. Store brands from around the country versus those iconic name brands. And store brands won 3 times. 7 times the national brands won, but 11 times it was a tie.
Were we talking only taste? Are we talking nutritional value? What were the criteria?
Oh, no. You know, we have our sensory experts at Consumer Reports, and we look for overall quality, freshness of flavors, balance of flavors, the presence of any off notes or defects.
All right, and let's talk about why this is so important. A study recently found that you can save about, on average, 30% if you buy a store brand over a name brand. Do the math there.
Oh, sure. Multiply it by 52 weeks. That's about $1,500 in savings if you were to switch off of all store brands. But you can save more or you can save less, depending upon your shopping habits. But the savings are real.
Those numbers based on if you spend about $100 a week on groceries. Let's get right to it. Now, the first couple of items, these are items where the store brands flat out beat the popular name brands. Start with soup.
Well, we don't have the orange juice, but Tropicana lost to Publix. But let's look at these. Campbell's, one of the most iconic names out there. Chicken noodle soup versus Food Lion. We preferred, or our testers preferred, the Food Lion because it had a more intense flavor. It wasn't as oily a broth. And the Campbell's had kind of a lingering taste of garlic powder. It was clearly better.
All right, move on to hot dogs. Bad news for Oscar Mayer in this particular test.
Yeah, I mean, the Oscar Mayer was certainly okay, but the America's Choice from A&P was really juicy and beefy and had a better flavor. It was a little smokier, whereas the Oscar Mayer had kind of an ashy flavor.
And about $1 difference in price between the packets. Now let's go to a group. These are toss-ups.
Right.
These are where the testers say, you know what, I can really taste no difference. Although sometimes they taste different, but they're not saying one's better than the other.
Matt, that's absolutely true, because sometimes people think, well, it's not as good as the store brand. What they're really saying is they don't taste alike. But they could be differences in seasonings and flavorings that make them different, but that doesn't mean the quality can't be equivalent.
So, for example, Canada Dry versus America's Choice Ginger Ale?
Interesting concept, because our taster said it's a toss-up because, you know, you'd be hard-pressed to tell either.
Okay. Fruit Loops versus Stop and Shop Fruit Swirls.
That's an interesting one, because not because products are equal don't mean they're very good. These had a distinctly artificial fruit flavor, kind of reminiscent of lemon-scented household cleaner. Both of them. That doesn't mean uniformly good. It just means they taste alike.
And great for countertops also.
Beautifully colorful.
Well, tell me about the yogurt story.
Well, you know, everybody knows Dannon yogurt, and we had a Food Lion yogurt. Both had great big dairy flavors, but the Dannon was a little sweeter. We thought that had a better vanilla flavor in the Food Lion.
Let me just mention price. Dannon $3.14. The Food Lion $1.99. That's
huge
a big
savings.
Okay, on to potato chips. We're starting to get the idea here. On to ketchup here. Heinz versus Target.
Well, the key thing about the ketchup was that the Heinz ketchup, which people love, is a very spicy ketchup, distinct Worcestershire notes, whereas the Market Pantry here was mostly tomatoey. So, you know, there were differences in flavor, but they're both high quality.
Let's give the brand names some love here, because taste testers opted for the pricier brand name items in these tests here. Starting out, Oscar Mayer Deli Turkey, better than Stop and Shop.
Because you could tell it was turkey.
That's important in turkey.
Yeah, this one was kind of nondescript, almost like ham, and it looked like ham, but we couldn't tell.
They should just call this lunch meat. Then.
Exactly.
You pick it.
You hit the nail on the head.
Okay, and we had Sargento Classic Mozzarella versus America's Choice Mozzarella, and they basically said Sargento tastes better.
Big dairy flavor, that's why. Fresher flavors,
and
too.
And finally, Bumblebee Chunk Tuna versus Target Market Pantry Chunk Tuna. Your testers like the Bumblebee.
By a lot. And the Market Pantry, we couldn't even tell in a couple of lots we tested it was tuna. It was kind of nondescript, and it had a kind of a tinny taste in a couple of lots, too.
And some of the store brands that your testers went, that they really can save you an awful lot of money. We're going to put that information up on our website, all right?
Yeah.
Todd Marks, important. And again, a little love for the store brands. Good to see you.
Thanks, Matt.